Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli wa sallam ala habibna nabina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd. How are you, my sisters in Islam? I hope you are all doing well, inshallah ta'ala, and keeping up with your salah and practicing our deen, and also your children, of course, because we are the one who are responsible to answer Allah, which way we guide our children from the young age. Are we putting our children in the wrong way, in the dunya, in the dramas, in the film, in just giving them mobiles, wasting their time? Because in the mobile, you know, there's nothing in good, it's all bad, unless we teach our children what is good and what is bad. These days, we have to keep an eye on our children, what they're up to. So, my sisters in Islam, let's start with our topic, the beautiful stories of our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the way he lived his life, and how pain he, went through to deliver the words of Allah, the deen of Allah, Islam. So let's get started. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The Quraysh found it difficult to accept the fact that a large group of Muslims had managed to escape their campaign of terror. Safe in Abyssinia, the Muslims now enjoyed the experience of not facing any opposition to their faith and way of life. The Quraysh, nonetheless, had a plan in mind. They sent two of their very shrewd envoys, Amir bin al-As and Abdullah bin Rabi'a, to Abyssinia to have the Muslims extradited back to Arabia. According to the plan, the two representatives of the Quraysh first met the Abyssinian bishop and bribed them in order to gain access to the king. When they succeeded in getting an audience with him, they presented him with gifts from Arabia. Then they stated their case. "O king, some foolish men from our city have taken refuge in your majesty's country. They have abandoned our religion, but rather than accepting your religion, they have invented one of their own. Their families, knowing of their delusions, have sent us to you, your majesty, to bring them back home." When they had made their plea to the king, the Abyssinian bishop stood and urged him to grant their request. The king, however, was a very fair judge. He said that he would allow both parties to make their statements before making a decision. The Muslim refugees were summoned to the king's court. Then the king questioned them why they had entered an unknown religion that had caused them to abandon their families and tribes and country. Ja'far bin Abu Talib, the Prophet's cousin, rose on behalf of the Muslims and said, "O king, we were a nation steeped in ignorance. We worshipped idols, ate carrion, committed many sins. We neglected our kin and mistreated our neighbors. The strong among us devoured the weak. We lived until Allah raised among us a messenger of whose noble lineage, truthfulness, honesty, and purity we were all aware. He invited us to acknowledge the oneness of Allah, to worship Allah, and to renounce the stones and idols our forefathers used to worship. He enjoined upon us to speak the truth, to keep our word, and to be kind and considerate to our relatives and neighbors. He forbade us from shedding blood, to act justly, to lie, and to and not to deceive others. He forbade us to encroach upon the property of orphans or to just with women. He commanded us to worship Allah alone without associating anything with him. He ordered us to pray, to fast, and to pay the poor their due. We acknowledge he was Allah's messenger and believed in him. We followed him in whatever he brought from Allah. And we worshipped only one God without associating anything with him. We treated as unlawful and forbid and embraced what he made lawful for us. At this, our people was estranged. They persecuted us, tried to seduce us from our faith, and force us to return to idolatry, pressing us to return to the abominations we used to commit earlier. When they tortured us, ground us under their tyranny, and stood between us and our religion, we fled to your country, O King, choosing you above others for refuge. We have come here, O King, to your country seeking your protection. We hope that we will not be dealt with unjustly. The king listened patiently to Ja'far. Then he asked Ja'far if he could recite something that had been revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ja'far then recited the opening verses of Surah Maryam, named after Mary, the mother of Jesus. The king wept, cried until tears flowed to his beard, and the bishops were also overcome. Truthfully, this and what Jesus brought are from the same divine light. Then turning to the envoys of the Quraysh, the king said, "You may go. By God, I shall never give them to you, nor will they be ill-treated by you people." The two envoys from the Quraysh now changed their tactics. The next day, they returned to the king against court and made another attempt to convince the king to expel the Muslims from his country. Amr tried to incite the king against the Muslims. "O king, they assert a dreadful thing about Jesus. They say bad things about Jesus, which is too shameful to be repeated in front of you." The king again summoned the Muslims to his court and questioned them about their belief regarding Jesus. Ja'far bin Abi Talib replied, "We say about him that which our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us. Jesus was a human being and Allah's prophet. He was a spirit and a word cast unto the Blessed Virgin Maryam." The king took a straw from the ground and said, "By God, Jesus, the son of Maryam, does not exceed what you have said. By the length of the straw, go and live in my territory in peace and security, O Muslims. Those who ill-treat you will be punished. I will not give you any trouble, even if I were offered a mountain of gold in exchange." The king then ordered that all the gifts brought by the envoys from the Quraysh be returned. He was not accepting them. Having failed miserably, the two envoys left for Arabia in great shame. The Quraysh were very angry about what had happened in Abyssinia. They had been mocked in the king's court, and the name of their tribe had been tarnished. All because of a small band of refugees, the Muslims, they determined, would pay for this with their blood in return. Yet how were they to be avenged for this humiliation? Abu Talib was steadfast in his support for his nephew, no matter how hard the Quraysh tried to manipulate him. With his uncle's protection, the Prophet Muhammad continued with his mission, preaching. The Quraysh tried everything to destroy Islam: persecution, assassination, bribery, debate, and even compromise. Nothing worked. The defeat the pagans suffered at the Abyssinian court gave them further cause to hate Islam. Naturally, they took out their frustrations on the Muslims who still lived in Mecca. Once, Atiba bin Abi Lahab, who at this point was discovered from the Prophet's daughter, Kulthum, came to the Prophet Muhammad and quoted a verse from Surah Al-Najm, only to say, "I disbelieve in the one who revealed this verse." He reiterated that although the Quraysh had prostrated along with the Prophet Muhammad after recitation of this surah, they clung to their belief in the divine source of Muhammad's prophethood and of the revelations he received. They stood to their own belief. From this point onward, Atiba became a source of constant irritation for the Prophet. He once tore the Prophet's clothes and spat in his face of our Prophet. "O Allah," the Prophet Muhammad said in response, "set one of your dogs on him." Soon after that, Atiba went to Syria along with a caravan. When the caravan halted at Zarqa, a lion began to circle them. Atiba panicked and cried, "By God, it will devour me. It will eat me." He just, as Muhammad prayed, "I am in Syria and he is in Mecca, but he will kill me," the lion. When they went to sleep at night, the other members of the caravan let Atiba sleep in the middle of them. Despite this arrangement, the lion at night passed by the camels and other men and pounced on Atiba and took him by his head in his jaws and killed him on the spot. The way the Prophet prayed to Allah to send one of his dogs on him. One enemy was vanquished, others remained to plague the Prophet Muhammad. Uqba bint Abi Muayyad, who placed the camel's intestines on the Prophet's back, once saw the Prophet Muhammad praying. And waited for him to place his forehead to the ground. He then placed his foot on the Prophet's neck and pressed him down with all his weight until the Prophet's eyes boggled. So this, my sisters in Islam, a story of the past, the disgrace they did to our Prophet, how they hurt our Prophet, our beloved Prophet, makes us cry when we read the sort of things that our Prophet went through, torture, and they spitting on him and putting intestines on the back of our Prophet when he's in sujood. My sisters in Islam, so when we learn from here the stories of our Prophet, we should try our best that we follow our Islam, our teaching, to make our Prophet happy when we meet our Prophet and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment, so that we should not be lost in this dunya, in this material dunya, in this glittering dunya around us, the shopping malls. We go here, we go there. We just try to fit into them, into the kafir, the way of their living, the way of their way dressing, the way they treat, every person, good or bad, we should just follow the teachings of our Islam to forgive and make love and peace, regardless in what religion they are. They are all human. They are creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are told by our Prophet, beloved Prophet, that we should love everyone. The love has such power that it can change hearts. So if we, with tolerance and love and kindness towards anyone, regardless of the religion, they're Christian, Hindu, whatever they are, our duty is to talk to them with love and kindness so they can automatically see what we Muslims can give. We give love and peace, not hatred, because our religion is peace, love, and tolerate, not in return with fear and with anger, just because if somebody said something. We should have tolerance. Our deen, our Islam tells us tolerance, that if someone's saying something bad, we can reply in a loving way without taking revenge or standing face to face. This is not Islam. Because of some people, their actions has made our religion downgrade. Because of their actions in anger and screaming and bursting out on somebody's face, this is why they think that our Islam, our deen, Islam, is only terror and no tolerance. No, this is not. This is wrong. This is not true. Our beloved Prophet, if you read his story, his lifetime, how it started, how he tolerated everyone. Even they look at them, they spat on him and threw intestines and dirty things of animals on our Prophet. But he never said why. In return, he just wanted to give them love and teach them that this is wrong. So my sisters in Islam, I hope you lot benefit something from here, inshallah ta'ala, and pass it on to your children, because these small stories make a huge difference. So until next time, inshallah ta'ala, my sisters, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.